Good morning, and good morning to the viewers.
I see you're wearing a different hat tomorrow. What can writers attending the session look forward to?
Well, I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, and hopefully it will focus more on the treatment of plays rather than the storyline, because obviously there's only so many stories, so it's about how those stories are treated and how to own the stories in terms of a South African context.
Now, what is the significance of the title, Perspective Techniques for Expanding the Writer's Scope, and in your context, obviously, the play?
Well, for us, it's really looking at how reality is explored in television, in film, in theatre, and the way in which that reality is explored. We look back at traditional ways of writing plays, the kinds of rules that were applied, and then also look at the fact that we're now in a global village, and how do we make sure that we go from one side through to the other. And then also looking at the mode of delivery as well as the method. So those will be the sort of core features.
Yeah.
In terms of the techniques I'm using 7 different techniques that I've used with students to try and increase awareness, and these would look at things like the secret code. For example, 2 plus X equals 5 is better than saying 2 plus 3 equals 5. So what is the surprise element? What are the things that we look for as the audience members? So those 7 techniques are new techniques that have been developed specifically to teach scriptwriters.
Yeah. Now, I mean, in your experience, what's the biggest mistake, what's the common mistake that writers make in writing plays?
I think predominantly it's about formatting, where the format is not the correct format.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is proofreading. Proofreading is very, very important. You're asking somebody to read something or an actor to perform something, and so they want to see something that you've put your heart and soul into. So I'd say those are the 2 key areas that I've found in my own experience.
And in your opinion, what benefits do these kind of sessions have for playwrights?
I think it's about sharing. It's about sharing the way in which people view writing. And I think because writing is such an activity that is done alone, that sharing becomes a really special thing, to be able to share with other people who are also writing on their own and also having different kinds of experiences. And I think that this is a way for us to reflect on the society that we live in and the world that we live in.
Are we finding new playwrights, though? Do you find that in your line of work, I mean, somebody who's been involved in theatre for so long, are we producing enough playwrights at the moment to succeed the ones that exist yourselves, for instance?
Well, I've been teaching playwriting for approximately 10 years, and I would hope that will impact in the future on new artists, new playwrights with new stories to tell. We've got so many stories in this country that have not been explored, and so it's a means to help people to actually start exploring those stories, start voicing with their own voice, start developing a unique signature to their own works. And I think once we start to do that, we're going to see a burgeoning of playwrights. Certainly in our own experience, we have people like Malika Ndlovu, who is the poet and has been published in the Century of South African Poets, who studied with us. We've got Portia Gumedi, who's written for hard copy, who's also studied with us. So we're hoping that in putting out these different people, I believe the head scriptwriter for Generations also comes from us. We're hoping that these people can encourage and be role models for a future generation of writers. And we have a lot of very, very good writers in Durban that we can refer to, and we can ask them to come in and share their expertise with us. So it's a way of sharing, and I think once that expertise begins to be shared, people become more aware.
All right. Professor, thank you so much for talking to us. Always such a pleasure having you on the program. That was Associate Professor in the Drama Studies program, Debbie Lutge, who will conduct a knowledgeable share session entitled Perspective Techniques for Expanding the Right to Scope in Morningside in Durban tomorrow. That's at 6 o'clock.